Namaste! Grand Rising, Big Cat. Welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or messages. Come in! Come on! I've got intel. Recon is afoot.
Depot on the beat.
May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of the Most High. When in doubt, go within. Grand Rising, bestie. Just giving it a hot minute for the big cats to attend, darling dears. Because we got something to unpack. Well, we've always got something to unpack, but today we're unpacking, okay? Okay. Why? Because now, they, them and are digging their own graves, darling dears. They thought your silence was surrender. It was strategy. Everything they did left it in abeyance. Every exile became your empire. Every whisper will become your war drum. The receipts they mocked in private are now public scripture, darling dears. Judgment didn't disappear. It just grew teeth in the dark. Betrayal carved your crown sharper than their blades. Remember, I told you that, big cat. You was always the prototype. Let's press on, darling dears. Why? Because you've turned disgrace into dynasty, darling dears. Sorrow into spectacle, but not your spectacle, darling dears. I said they dug their own grave, and if they return, their pet cemetery, yeah? Pet cemetery. Let's dive in, darling dears, and see what's going on. Okay, as I said, when I do the live reads, I'm going to give you the planetary transits for the day, the helpful initials. The helpful initials are prophetic clues tied to real-time planetary transits. Each letter represents a person, place, a platform, or a power structure that's impacting your karmic storylines. The letters that have come up are C for contract, courtroom, Cassandra, credit score, M, media, Michelle, message thread, mortgage. S could be a scandal, Stephen, a sisterhood or a settlement. P could represent property, Paul, a portfolio, prison wall. Okay. Not necessarily tied to these initials, but you'll see it in your karmic story, darling dears. Those letters will appear. Let's dive right in, darling dears. Let's dive right in, because I know that this is what they think of you, darling dears. Yes, they do. But remember, law number 10 works for you. Avoid the unlucky and the unhappy. Why? Because it puts you at point A and point B, guys. Point A and point B. Right. Let's press on. Let's press on. Give it a good shufti. Hey, Athena Light. Big cat wave. Glad you could pop in, darling dears. Let's get the meat and potatoes out, darling dears. This one wants you to jump up. Right. Listen, it'll kill out them kwati. They are getting the what? Wiki. Dubplate remix, darling dears. They're living in regret. Oh well, what they thought they'd buried, darling dears. What they thunk they could get away with. They're worried, pressed, pumped, and perturbed. Leaving all of this shiznai in abeyance. Oh hell no. What fell out as well? The truth roof. Pinkies up. You are going to be vindicated, darling dears. Why? Because you moved in silencio. You are showing through your actions, never your words. The next one that fell out was this. Oh, they're watching you, darling dears. They are watching you. They are focused. Man, focused on what you've got going on, darling dears. The silent watchers. The ones that have to use different display names in order to what? Access your accounts, darling dears. They are watching, wanting to know where your mind is. What are you going to do next? But they don't know what they're going to do next. Why? Because you're a big cat. We never discuss our next move. We don't discuss our who we're involved with, right, on a romantical basis. We don't discuss, darling, there's family issues with feeble-minded dummy bats. They're watching, focused, yeah. These what? Children of the corn eye. Yeah, and they feel ashamed. They should be ashamed. But their shame is going to be loud, just like the disrespect they gave to you was loud. Trust and believe. Right. Let me give it one more shufti. So they want to come in with sweet talk, darling dears, to talk you off your throne, darling dears, the one that was given to you by the Most High Father, God, Mother Isis. Don't listen to it, darling dears. It will be the whisperings of Hannibal Lecter. You'll be dead by dawn. Base of the deck, darling dears. Somebody's coming in with some bad news. Something bad's going on in their life, darling dears. They've got a sob story to tell you. Listen, they've got stories for the young and for the old, darling dears. For the young and for the old. Outrageous? It's always outrageous, darling dears. But guess what? When you come here, you get the usher. You get all the confessionals, darling dears. We play no games. Divine says what? Abundance to you, darling dears. Abundance. Abundance comes in many forms, not just in the financial, darling dears. Knowledge, darling dears. You've been linked up with your true soul tribe, darling dears. Getting the true support you deserve. Predator or prey? Listen, be the predator, yeah? Big Cat is a predator, yeah? You're a predator, right? You was never the prey. Well, maybe for a time, darling dears, because we all had to what? Go through the DNS, the dark night of the soul, darling dears. Had to look over my right shoulder because it's not creeping up on me again. Blood, bra, or cistrine. That situation ended for a reason, because they're a hustler. A hustler? A hustler. What else do we need to know? Right? Hate that you're happy without them. Imagine that. What did I say? They're going through the shame. They can't sleep at night. Why? Because your ancestral team, your security, likes to wake them up at the 3 a.m., darling dears, to remind them of what they did. They're getting it without the Vaseline. Don't feel sorry for them, darling dears. They chose that position. What else? They watched your transformation, darling dears. And they would like your energy. But you can't. What copycat? An original print? Are you kidding me, blood, bra, or cistrine? They're kidding themselves. Why? Because this is where you're seated. Self-care, self-love, and your self-worth. How dare they? They dare. They're bold. Outrageous. Let me go to the next deck. Imagine that, darling dears. They want to come and sweet talk you because you've been illuminated. Your frequency is not the same. You cannot be tricked or confused by past or new people coming into your life. Divine is giving you the abundance of true soul tribe, financial redress, whatever it is. When divine say yes, everybody say no. Why? Because they can't change divine's plan. I've told you this many, many times. You, big cat, are God's masterpiece. Ephesians 2:10 and Romans 2:12. Divine put you in a position where you can elevate your mind. And they're nothing but an attention hoe. And you're going to have major decisions to make, darling dears, whether you're going to backtrack and help the needy because they're coming in with bad news, try and sweet talk you, right? But they're ashamed. And regret knows their address. And remember, the regret is the difference between a Peter and a Judas. Peter had a bad day. Judas, hey, he went for the skrilla, the 13 pieces of silver. This is what? Soul surgery for you, darling dears. Top of the deck, too blessed to be stressed, darling dears. Is it buffering for you? It was just buffering. I could see it on the screen. Let me move forward. Good morning, Pressure. Glad you could pop in, darling dears. I see you all. Let's press on. Let's press on. Oh, too blessed. On the base of the deck, spiritual protection. You needed this for your spiritual war. This is why I tell you all of the time. Call your ancestors. They're here to protect you, darling dears. They're here, but the divine did not forget you. That everything you did in silencio is showing in your actions and your words. These stupid people, right? Wisdom was chasing them, but they ran so fast. They did. Dumb as a crumb, darling dears. And make sure, this is not a past person coming to talk to you. They're coming to what? Shoplift your pum-pum or your futum. They got me spluttering, right? Like that cat. What's the cat's name? Suckering Succotash. Somebody tell me. Hit me up in the comments, darling dears. Let's press on. I feel like I need to get one more before we go into the read. They're a deviant, darling. There's a deviant, right? And a hustler. Hey, listen. If this don't make your ovaries shrink and your seed go right up into your belly, I don't know what will. You was always the upgrade, but they put you in a position where they degraded you, darling dears, made you feel less than. Why? Because your light, the illumination, is in you, not on you. But you had to go through that DNS, the dark night of the soul, for you to understand whom you are. Socrates told us, and I keep telling you this, the key to the universe is knowing yourself. How do you know thyself? By reading your astrology, darling dears, your birth natal chart. Everything is in there. We already discussed, I'm going to digress a little bit. We already discussed the 13th degree. We did that on the 8-8 portal, okay? Is the 28th degree, darling dears, okay? The 28th degree is the cutoff, the ending. Look for where the 28th degree is on your natal chart, darling dears. And everything around that, the house that it's in, the planet that's in that house. Plus you have to also look to see where the planet's natural house is, because there's information there. Find out these things, darling dears, because I'm telling you, it's all there. And you are covered by Father God, Mother Isis. I kid you not. You've got dull-eyed simpletons, right? That are merchants of slander. Jeremiah 9:40. Let's get to the cards, darling dears. Right. Which deck am I going to use? I was about to say eeny, meeny, miny, mo, but it is what it is. Give it a good shufti. Base of the deck is the Emperor. You are the what? Foot soldier all the way up until the Commandante, darling dears. Whenever we see the Emperor turn up in a read, darling dears. You're being put in a leadership role. The leadership role could be one of the mind, darling dears, where you see all of the pieces on the board. They're playing chess checkers, while you're playing 4D chess, darling dears. And in every situation, the emperor must always protect the queen. They didn't protect your situation, darling dears. They didn't stand to the traditions that you upheld, darling dears. They downgraded you, right? Tried to make you feel less. Moon energy. The back, front, neck, tabba, darling dears. 2 major arcana, and I just pulled them randomly. This was on the base. This is people that will betray you, have betrayed you. Whenever we see the moon, darling dears, it speaks about what? Them trying to release some kind of fear onto you, darling dears, to make you scared in a situation that they created. Never forget, you are a powerful, resourceful manifester. Write that down. Put it on your mirror so you see it every time you brush your teeth, darling dears. In your boudoir. You need to start using the post-it notes, darling dears. Use the post-it notes. The energy of the moon, darling dears, is Pisces energy. Pisces is what? The 12th house. The 12th house is the house of undoing your subconscious mind. It's also the house of interment, whether in the grave, right? Mental hospital, darling dears. The 12th house is also about secrets, darling dears, secrets and the limitations they thought they could put on it. But it also represents the fraud of they, them and This, when we see this, darling dears, right? It tells us that they're trying to avoid the karma that is theirs. They're getting the karma, darling dears. Don't think they're not going to get it in this lifetime. Trust and believe. And as I've told you many times, I'm a life path 11, okay? I'm a Capricorn sun in the 9th house at 13 degrees. The 9th house is the house of God, darling dears. It's the house of prophets. I kid you not. Everything you see me doing at this moment in time with all of my readings, because I'm a life path 11, I have decided that I'm not coming back to this Malkuth. This is my last rodeo on this Malkuth, darling dears. Yes, I will ride it till the wheels fall off, darling dears. But I will do everything in my power to upgrade the big cats so you know what's going on at all times. Right. Let's get into the read, darling dears. We're already what? 18 minutes in. Hi, Ivy. Big cat wave. Chrissy. Wagwan. Fist bump. Right. Let me move up the screen so I can see who's saying what. Empress of everything. Big cat wave. Hold on, I'm trying to move up the screen so I can see. Done it. Done it. Jeanette, what's going on, darling dears? Right, let's give it a good shufti. What is the truth that is breathing fire at this moment in time? Fell off the back end, darling dears. We'll keep this here, our what? Receipt, darling dears, that you are protected. But you must also do everything within your power to protect yourself. As I said, in front of your mirror, an obsidian crystal, darling dears. Also, right, you have to make sure that you keep your house protected. Salt marking your front and back door, darling dears. Red dirt, if you can get it. Protect yourself. This is spiritual warfare. And they are ashamed, right? But as I said, how they disgraced you in public, right? Their shame is also going to be public. Remember, I told you that. Sweet talk. Listen, that's for the birds, darling dears, for the birds. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. So the subject, darling dears, what truth is now breathing that fire? Did I just see a card flip? playing with me, darling dears. The cards are playing with me. Let's shuffle again. The truth, the Empress, darling, is because you know your worth. And we love that. We already saw the Emperor. So the Empress has come to join him. It speaks into what? Lean in, bestie. Lean in. The energy of the Empress is Venus energy, Earth energy. Venus is all about knowing your worth. It speaks about abundance. The same abundance that I said is being bestowed onto you, darling dears. Right? The energy of the Empress, it also tells me that it comes with a timing, darling. This represents 9 months. So 9 months from today, or today is the culmination of the 9 months. Okay? Okay. All right. This speaks about fertility. Somebody could be pregnant at this moment in time, darling dears. But the Empress turning up, it also speaks about somebody being absent in a situation, someone who is a gossip, a cheater, someone who you saw once as a confidant. They was there with the knives, darling dears, going for the white meat. Right? Base of the deck, we have the Hierophant. As I said, they went against everything you saw as what's stable and right in your life, darling dears. When we see the Hierophant, that's the second house. What's the second house? The house of money. It's also the house of self-worth. Both cards telling you to lean in to your what? Self-care, self-love, and self-worth, darling dears. Why? Because you was always the upgrade. They tried to confuse you, put you in degradation, make you feel less than human, darling dears. All right. Tell me something else about the fire that's being breathed into this situation. When we see major arcana, darling dears, divine has a hand on your life. When we see the minor arcana, this is choices that you can actually make. But when you're being given this at the outset, what fell off at the ending, you have a message coming in, darling dear. Somebody's coming to speak to you in the name of Jesus. What do they want? For the love of God. It's a good shufti. Where's my tiny cards? Right? What incarnation are they coming to speak to you about? Fell off the back end, darling dear. Somebody's looking money, darling dears. They see that you're the Queen of Pentacles right now. You're a good mother or father, darling dears. You are in alignment. You went off to find your 10th cup by yourself. Nothing like building your own self, darling dears. They're coming to what? Get some kind of finance, some form of abundance from you. This is what they want, right? What must you do about it? You better nip that shit in the bud, darling dears. The unanswered message or email, right? This is the Knight of Wands. Somebody who comes in for a good time, but not a long time, darling dears. The Knight of Wands in reverse, darling dears, is attention seeking. Didn't I just tell you? Attention how? They want your attention, but it's abundance that they're coming for, darling dears. Abundance. Okay. What is the scandal that they tried to silence, which is going to be loud? Give it a good shufti. What is it that they're trying to silence? Look at this shit, darling dears. They're coming to offer into a situation because they know that you are stable. Whatever you've done to create that self-autonomy, darling dears. They're going to try and downplay any of the fighting where they were stabbing you in your back and your front and your side, darling dears. They're going to try and change your perception of the situation. They're coming in gaslighting, guys. They're coming in gaslighting and they want to silence your receipts. And you have receipts, darling dears, right? The Two of Swords shows that you was in a position where you didn't know whether to drop these receipts. Drop them blood clot, yeah? We get Jamaican up in this bitch. Drop them blood clot, whatever the receipts are. Take off that blindfold. They put you in this shiznai, and this could be a past or a future person coming towards you. But again, call your ancestors. And I've told you many times, there's ways of determining what type of person is coming into your hemisphere. Everybody likes to talk about themselves. Get them talking about the Chinese zodiac, darling dears. Mention what you are and talk about the friendly side of whatever it is you are. Don't talk about the negative side. And ask them, what's your Chinese zodiac, bitch? Hey, you will know whether they are friend or foe. And normally, people that come in with earth energy, whether it's the goat, the pig, the rat, whatever, right? These people are usually stubborn and immovable. There's ways to find out. Not everybody wants to tell you what their date of birth is, but their Chinese zodiac, they'll be spilling it. Find out this shiznai. If you want me to put something up for the Chinese zodiac on the community board, please hit me up in the comments, darling dears, and I will discharge that intel immediately. They're coming in for your abundance, darling dears. After they what? No, 2 cards telling you about your worth, telling me how astucious you are. If you have progeny, you focused on your progeny, darling dears. So you have what? A decision to make, which is soul surgery. Okay. Trying to break the big cat, darling dears. And for some, this is somebody coming through, darling dears, that's going to be on your level. And I'm talking your frequency level, darling dears. This 8 of Wands could also represent what? Cupid's arrow, darling dears. Listen, you know how I feel about Cupid, right? He had a chance to look at your records and still gave you what? The bottom of the pot. Someone straight from the crevice of the devil's balls, right? But this is saying somebody's coming in, darling dears, on your frequency, okay? So you have to learn to determine the good from the bad. So the grave that they've dug for themselves, darling dears, is going to become your throne. What fell out again? Listen. Nothing but bare major arcana that you're getting. The Hierophant, this is your traditions, darling dears. What they try to dick around with. It also speaks, when we see the Hierophant, right? They are jealous of your possessions, darling dears, as well as what? Something that they can't take from you. What's that? Your hidden talent. It also speaks about, the Hierophant energy speaks about close family that have now become enemies, right? Something to do with your first child, okay? When we see the Hierophant energy, it also speaks about you could have been working in a government position or something related to a government position, darling dears. But it's definitely telling us to look at your first child. There could be some skullduggery in that, darling dears. Someone working against you. The Hierophant is in the upright. When it's in the upright, this is the illumination that has been granted to you. Alexis Holmes, Big Cat Wave, Malibu, fist bump. Thank you for turning up for this little tete-a-tete, right? Base of the deck and the High Priestess, bare major arcana, telling you to use your discernment, darling dears. Okay. Whenever we see the High Priestess, darling dears, lean in, bestie, lean in. Okay, we've already had the 9 months timing. 9 months previous, you're coming to the culmination, or it's going to be 9 months ahead. But when we see the High Priestess, something is going to go down. Guess when? In 28 days. Did I not just tell you about the 28th degree? Whoever's coming towards you, darling, look at this shit. Someone that's coming to match your gangster, darling dears. Whether it's going to be a divinely guided friend, right? And that friend word, we don't use it loosely, darling dears. We used to. No. This person is being sent to you, darling dears. Why? Because you've raised your frequency. You are most definitely on the throne, and never forget, you are he or she for whom the sun rises. They chose to sow injustice and they are reaping calamity. When they was making plans of wickedness against you, darling dears, God was having a good laugh. Why? Because you was already in the DNS, darling dears, waiting for you to wake up, and you utilized that time in the DNS. Yes, you cried into your fist, but you used that time to learn new things, new skills that are added to what you already had on you. Tell me something else. Yeah, dickhead, right? Somebody who's really, really, really sorry, right? They wish they could get to your cup again. Could be a situation with 3 people in it, darling dears. A throuple, right? But remember, keep in your mind your first child. Something's going on with your first child. If you have children, if you don't have children, darling dears, it's someone that close around you that you had in your life. Maybe not like a child, but somebody who you spoke to, who you believe to be your confidant. That first child. Devil energy in the reverse, darling dears. Look at your first child, darling dears. Look at that person. This is Saturn energy. Whoever that first child is under some kind of Saturn rule, and it's in the reverse, darling dears. Something that's going to attack their reputation. It's going to attack their finances. It also speaks about some kind of community power, and their reputation is going to be attacked, darling dears. Why? Because they're slanderous. Didn't I just tell you about the Jeremiah 9:4? Okay. Whenever we see the 4 of Cups, darling dears, lean in, bestie. Lean in. It speaks about the disappointment and disillusionment. Why? Because they're a dickhead and a dumbass and a dummy bat. They refused the cup you offered. All the cards just fell everywhere. Right? This one's fallen on the floor. Get it. Good. I'm getting it. And if it's on the floor, it's coming through the door. You come with the Tower moment, darling dears. And when we see the Tower moment, darling dears, we've had the 9 months, we've got the 28th day, and we spoke about the 28th degree, darling dears. And the Tower moment means that a situation is coming towards you which is wholly unexpected, darling dears. Abundance. This is an opening, a gateway, a new portal that is being gifted to you, darling dears, because you did the due diligence. You took the time to do the shadow work. The shadow work ain't fun, darling dears. Why? Because you have to answer to yourself. You will look at every situation and speak truth into that situation, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. This is what shadow work is, darling dears. Whenever we see the 10 of Pentacles, it speaks about what the situation that's coming towards you is going to be beneficiary, right? To your great benefit, darling dears. It speaks about the loyalty and the family that you did not have, which is about to be gifted to you, right? It also speaks about your long-term success is guaranteed. Why? Because you did the due diligence. This represents legacies. It represents the fulfillment of your goals, right? And you have to what? Some of you need to change that poverty mind. I will never say to myself, I don't have any skrilla. That's the folding stuff, the money. I will say that I'm working on my finances. Simple as. And who am I saying it to? The Most High. Tell no one nothing. Yeah. Base of the deck, darling dears. This is coming in swiftly. Right? It also speaks about when we see the Knight of Swords, you've got to cut them down with a quickness, darling dears. Because you have to create an illness in a situation. It could be something to do with your nervous system, darling dears. Your bodily functions, whatever that is. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. You're going to find a different way to cure some illness that you've been going through at this moment in time, darling dears. Why? You've got to sit on the throne like a badass, darling dears. Not with issues that are going to be weighing you down. Every weapon they try to form against you will not prosper. This is why you was told to hold your gangster. This is why I've told you many times, if the right hand offends you, cut it off. And we don't care whom it is. Anyone can get it. Family, friends, partners, whatever, they can get it. Somebody's also denying that you've gone through some kind of an illness. Let's get into this shit. How can they deny an illness? Imagine that. Somebody wanted to deny that I've had a stroke, carpal tunnel surgery, osteoarthritis and fiber. How the bomber clock could you deny that? Listen, we're going to get gangster now because we want to know. We need a new deck for this. Let me get my shiznai all the way together. Somebody denied the illness that you had, darling dears. This one tried to jump. 10th cup, darling dears. Everything that they tried to deny against you, you're going to be satisfied in alignment. The 10th cup, this is the second deck it's come out on, darling dears. The truth will out and it will be loud. Remember, I told you that. They tried to make it seem like you didn't know what's going on. We have what? Libra energy and the moon, right? So the shape-shifting, right? Hustlers. Okay, moon energy, the back, front, neck, tabbers, darling dears. We've also got Libra. Libra is what? The 7th house. The 7th house of your one-to-one relationships, your partnerships, your friends, whatever, right? It's also about business contracts that are coming your way. But also, when we see the Libra energy, darling dears, this is a situation that must end. There's no more going forward, darling dears. Take the blindfold off, right? And see what's really going on. They're coming back to take, darling dears, of the abundance that you have. They're going to try and sweet talk you. They're watching your every move. They're captivated. What do you say, Malibu? Yeah, they're in denial, right? And it's not just a place in Egypt. Attention-seeking-hoes.com. Fist bump. Tell me something else. How can somebody deny someone's illness? Or they trying to downplay it? You are going to be vindicated. This is Pisces energy, the 12th house, darling dears. The secret keepers are about to be outed. And as I said, whatever they did is going to be loud, loud. Just as the shame they tried to put on you was loud, loud. And when they ate us, we 9 them. Energy of the 9 is completion. Energy of the 9, darling dears, is fated. And it also puts you in what? Manifestation mode. So when they ate us, we 9 them. When they come to you, darling dears, you must behave like a devout monk on a fast of patience. Why? Because you are covered by Father, God, Mother, Isis. Right? Look what's underneath that card. Didn't I just say they tried to deny an illness that you have? Let me get back into this deck. Because there's new rules, darling dears. Outrageous. Split the deck. And they think you're an easy mark. Bestie, you are obstreperous. Right, where's my shiznai? I just had it in my hand. Oh, here it is. Let me hypnotize your rotted, right? You are obstreperous. Listen to me, right? Which makes you extremely noisy and difficult to handle. Don't let nobody, right, in the future or from the past, these time-traveling hustlers, right, and this ain't Star Trek, come to what? Scramble your brain. New rules and a new life, darling dears. Are you going to give up your new life for bull swanky? Never forget, the first card that came out was the Emperor. You are the foot soldier all the way up until the Commandante. They are Decepticons, darling dears, but you have to determine it. We saw the High Priestess. Use your intuition. Use your discernment. This is what I say at the top of the read. When in doubt, go within. All answers come from within, darling dears. Now I can feel my crown chakra tightening. Listen. Denying these things, darling dears, but you'll be vindicated because you make the right choices. Lovers, as I said, you have someone coming in, darling dears. Lovers energy also represents younger siblings and extended family members, aunts, cousins, that sort of thing, darling dears. But it's Gemini energy, the third house, because of how you communicate, darling dears. It could be online, it could be in person. You've changed everything. Why? Because you are under new rules. Why? Because you're illuminated, darling dears. And it also speaks about travel. Somebody's going to be traveling by boat. Yeah. They didn't think, darling dears, that you would pull all of them knives out of your back, right? And cut the cords. They didn't think that you'd actually have the strength to do it. But when temperance shows up, darling dears, you had to choose you or them. They put you on a hard journey, right? But you had all of the tools within. You always had them. The energy of the temperance also speaks about a secret admirer appearing in your life. Listen, you better not come up at me with no secret shit, darling dears. Where's my bat? Oh, it's in the other room. Listen. Somebody is definitely coming through as support, darling dears. Bear major arcana because of the decision that you had to make, and it's split on the Knight of Wands. This person is coming in quickly, darling dears. To what? Scramble your brain. They're having buyer's remorse. Starlight, fist bump. Thank you for the super chat, darling dears. Absolutely fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely. You want to come scramble your brain? God's masterpiece? They are nothing but raccoons, darling dears. And where do you find raccoons? In the trash. Final. Look at all of the cards. They're backwards and frontwards. Can I still use this deck? Empress energy again. The cards are backwards and forwards. Yeah, Two of Swords. Put yourself first in every situation, darling dears. Moon and the Libra energy again. Put yourself first. Your health is your wealth, darling dears. They tried to deny whatever your health issue was, darling dears. It was you against them. It was always that way because you was not meant to stay in a situation that kept you below ground zero. Lean into the serendipity that the divine is gifting you at this moment in time. We have 9 months, we had 28 days, and we also had the Tower with sudden change. Pay attention, darling dears. Pay attention. Matt B, fist bump. You're saying they better not come at you. They better not, darling dears. Listen, you hold the whip, and she or he who holds the whip runs things. You are Khaleesi or Carl. Never you forget that. Let's get a final card, and then we're out of here. Right? They're upset that you transformed. They're upset that you didn't go into the fight and fight with them when God was involved. You take it to your ancestors, to the Most High. And then you work like a bitch. I've told you many, many times, darling dears. Move like a gangster. Think like a nun. They're nothing but opportunists, darling dears. And these opportunists are what? Dexterous. Right? They are dexterous. They will change in order to suit the situation so they can bleed you for anything that they can get. And if you get in that position, remember what I said, a 5-pound bag of rice. You must count them one by one until your mind is right. And you can't use a pen and paper. And if you mess it up, you must start counting that 5-pound bag of rice, 1 grain at a time. Right, let's finish up this read before we get off to get great. And if you want the information about the Chinese zodiac, I can put it on the community board, or you can go to Pinterest. Get all of this information. When you leave here, you are armed and dangerous. Is that U-R-N? Fist bump, darling. How do you pronounce that? Listen, baby. I'll just call you bestie, yeah? You bestie. How about that? Let's get the final card. And then we're out here. All right, these deviants denied that you had an illness. It could be postpartum, whatever the illness was, they denied it. And they're coming in to gaslight you. I wish a bitch would, darling dears. I wish a bitch would. Okay, because you had the 10 of Swords. You took the knives out of your back, darling dears, and cut the cords. Why would you want to reattach them? Okay, let's get a final book. And then we're out of here to get great. Okay. Let me use something that I haven't used in a long time. Final message. We're already at the 46. This is what I'm saying. The time just slips away, darling dears, when we're having a little tete-a-tete of what's going on. Final message for the big cats. Know your power, darling dears. Know your power and what you hold and command. You are the baddest of them all, darling dears. It's a reminder, yes, high priestess or priest energy, darling dears. Use your intuition and your discernment to unlock the doors that are for you. Call your ancestors at any time. There's no big ceremony you need to call your ancestors. Call them. You can call them on the toilet, but I wouldn't do that. That's so disrespectful. But you understand what I'm saying? There's no big ceremony. You call them. When you're going for your deepest pain, darling dears, they call them. You will feel comforted. I'm telling you this. You hold the power, darling dears. Don't waste it. And don't waste it on the feeble-minded dummy bats. Remember, you are a devout monk on a fast of patience. On that note, I drops me mic. Toddle over to my Teesprings, darling dears. Pick up some of the channel merch. Or head over to Amazon and pick up one of my books, darling dears. If you'd like a personal read for your charts or for tarot, darling dears, hit me up at onebigcatchronicles@gmail.com. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. Until we meet again on these tarot streets. Cat, cat. Cat, cat. Never forget, when divine bless you, no man can curse you. Big cat wave.